Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news, so let's talk about the buzz that's been swirling around the league lately. A rumor that could shake up the NFC South and give the Falcons a serious boost. Word from sources close to the league, like Diana Rossini, is that the Cleveland Browns, sitting at a disappointing 2-7 record and currently rebuilding, might be open to trading one of their most valuable assets, Myles Garrett. That's right, the all-pro pass rusher who has been a nightmare for offenses across the league could soon be wearing the black and red of the Atlanta Falcons. And why would Cleveland consider such a move? Well, they're in full rebuild mode, with a cap space of about $19 million and a high-powered offense that's been leaking points, allowing 32 points per game, which is a big concern. The Browns are trying to reshape their roster, especially with injuries and inconsistent play from Deshaun Watson, who's been dealing with concussions and missed a couple of games. Their focus seems to be on offloading Garrett, possibly in exchange for a second-round pick in 2026, and focusing on acquiring offensive talent to bolster their attack. Now for the Falcons, this is a golden opportunity. At 3-7, they're still holding on in the playoff hunt, and adding a player of Garrett's caliber would be a game-changer. Atlanta's defensive line has been decent but inconsistent, especially with Calais Campbell and others battling injuries and age. The absence of Grady Jarrett due to injury has hurt the pass rush, and the team could really use that elite edge presence Garrett provides. Just look at what a similar move did for the 49ers in 2024 with Nick Bosa. Adding Garrett could boost the Falcons' sack numbers by around +14, dramatically improving their ability to pressure the quarterback and disrupt offensive rhythm. Garrett's profile is impressive. In 2025, he's played 9 games, totaling 24 solo tackles, 10 assists, and an eye-popping 11 sacks. His career stats include over 110. 5 sacks and 450 tackles, with 5 Pro Bowls and a Defensive Player of the Year award. He's a proven game-changer, a player who consistently commands double teams and can anchor any defense. Imagine how this move could reshape the Falcons' defense. Garrett's presence would elevate the entire front seven, making it easier for linebackers like Bud Dupree and safeties to make plays. His ability to generate pressure, currently at a 22% pressure rate, and his bend speed of 85% make him one of the most dangerous pass rushers in the league. Atlanta's current pressure rate is around 28%, which isn't bad but could be much better with Garrett's addition. His rush success rate of 68% and run-stop percentage of 40% show he's not just a pass rusher, but a versatile defender who can set the tone against both the pass and the run. And with minimal injury concerns, just one missed game due to a shoulder injury, Garrett's durability is another big plus. From Cleveland's perspective, they're freeing up around $22 million to extend Nick Chubb, which is a priority for them. They're also paying close attention to their offensive line, which has allowed 35 sacks this season. That's a lot of pressure on Watson and the offense, and trading Garrett could be part of a broader strategy to rebuild around their young pieces and focus on protecting Watson better. Cleveland's focus is on cutting costs and restructuring, and moving Garrett could free up significant cap space while giving Atlanta a franchise-altering player. Now, what would this mean for the Falcons on the field? Well, the impact could be huge. Atlanta's defense would see a 25% increase in pressure rate, jumping from around 28% to over 50%. That kind of pressure can turn into turnovers and game-changing plays, especially with Garrett's knack for forcing fumbles and sacking quarterbacks. Opponents would have a much harder time establishing a passing rhythm, which could lead to more 3-and-outs and more opportunities for the Falcons' offense to control the game. This would also reduce the yards per carry allowed, going from 4.3 yards per rush down to around 3.5, making opposing offenses much less effective on the ground. And with the added pressure and disruption, the secondary would benefit, allowing fewer big plays and reducing the completion percentage of opponents from 65% to about 55%. Let's not forget the psychological boost this would give the Falcons' defense. Having a top-tier defensive end like Garrett would elevate the entire unit, making them more aggressive, more disciplined, and more relentless. It's a move that signals the Falcons are all in for a playoff push and maybe even a deep run in the postseason. The boost in sacks and pressure could push Atlanta's win rate in close games, and it could turn the tide of the division, helping them challenge the Bucs and Saints more effectively. The NFC South has been a tight race, and adding a player like Garrett could be the difference between a first-round exit and a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Looking at the bigger picture, this trade could also influence the Falcons' Super Bowl odds significantly. Currently, they're around +12, 0 to win it all, but with Garrett on board, those odds could improve dramatically to around +4, 500. His presence in the playoffs makes him an X-factor, similar to what Nick Bosa did for the 49ers in 2024, where he racked up 3 sacks and even scored a touchdown. Garrett could do the same for Atlanta, boosting their chances of winning NFC games and advancing deep into the playoffs. His addition would not only strengthen the defense but also send a message across the league. The Falcons are serious, they're building a championship-caliber team, and they're willing to make bold moves to get there. Of course, such a move isn't without risks. Cleveland might want to hold on to Garrett, especially if they think they can turn things around with Watson returning to form. But if the Falcons can strike a deal, it changes the entire dynamic of their team. They'd be acquiring a player who can anchor their defense for years to come, a true franchise cornerstone. With Garrett, the Falcons could shift toward a more aggressive, pass-rushing-oriented defense, forcing turnovers, creating pressure, and making life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. It's exactly the kind of upgrade that could push Atlanta into true playoff contention and maybe even give them a shot at the Super Bowl. In the end, it's all about timing and opportunity. The Falcons have the cap space, the draft capital, and the desire to take that next step. If this trade materializes, it could be the move that defines their season and sets the stage for a new era of dominance in the NFC South. The team has been building steadily, and now they might just find their missing piece, one of the league's most disruptive pass rushers, ready to help them chase that elusive Lombardi trophy. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster trade? Do you think adding Myles Garrett would be enough to push Atlanta into serious Super Bowl contention? Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates and insights, so stay tuned for all the latest Atlanta Falcons news. We're in this together, and with moves like this, who knows? The sky's the limit for the Falcons in 2024 and beyond.